Hey, what's poppin' Westchester? My name is Andrea Della Mura, and we are here today at the Drip Bar and Rye.
What's poppin', Westchester? This is the Westchester Pop.
Hello.
Hi, Don.
I'm going to just move this so I can see you.
Of course.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure.
Thanks for literally hooking me up.
We did.
So before we start, tell me what's literally pumping through my veins right now.
So right now we're both getting the same drip. We are both getting something called the debut. The debut drip is what we interpret to be the Myers cocktail. Very, very similar. So you're getting pumped up right now with some vitamin C. You're getting B12, B complex, basically for your energy level. And I have to tell you, this type of drip is awesome for just well-being. It is a very popular drip. Actually, we have a lot of specials on it because a lot of people, it's their go-to. So I figured great place for someone who has never dripped before.
Yeah, I've never dripped before. And I don't know what it's doing to my posture, but I've never had better posture in my life. I'm like sitting up completely straight.
Woo, all right.
Talk to me about how you came to be. Tell me about how drip started for you.
Well, interesting enough, so I am 55 years old. I'm also a two-time cancer survivor. I had cancer in my 20s, and then I had cancer in my 30s. And after my second cancer, I really wasn't doing very well. And it was sort of like a Hail Mary. To get my numbers where they needed to be and to get my health basically pumped back up, it took a lot. And so talking about the Myers cocktail, very simple vitamins. I went to an infusion center and I had some drips that were done over a 3-month period of time, and I absolutely hated it.
Okay.
I hated it because of the type of place that I had to go to get it. It was very triggering for me. There's a lot of people, that were getting treatment for cancer, and it was hard because it was something that I really wanted to do. I really wasn't that sure of it because this is going back like 8 years. This was not readily available, had to find it. But after 3 months of getting it done, had my blood work redone, and I have to tell you, I was as surprised as my doctor. I couldn't believe in such a short period of time, using simple vitamins, that my numbers changed so dramatically. And then, I learned a lot through the process. I learned that what is in the bag, the compounding that is done with the vitamins that are in that bag, 98% of it goes right to our cell level. So that's the difference that I learned through taking oral vitamins, which I still do, taking oral vitamins every day, but also how it's processed in our body, right? It has to be digested, it goes through the kidneys. At the end of the day, how much are you really getting, especially for someone whose health is really not doing well? I also learned through the process that I have leaky gut. My microbiome was a disaster for many, many reasons, from when I was very young to being a teenager, having irritable bowel, to cancer and chemotherapy in my 20s. My body really never had a chance to even to be able to repair itself. So that said, I was actually able to continue finding places to do these types of drips, but I had to travel. And then honestly, I was trying to find different ways that I didn't have to travel. And so I did find places locally that I could go to, because now these places are starting to pop up. So I was really happy about that. But I will tell you that after asking a lot of questions and figuring out what it is that I needed to do, I realized that they probably weren't as safe for someone with autoimmune as they should have been. I didn't ask questions because I was almost desperate that I really needed this, and I really just wanted to feel better, and I knew what it was doing for my body. The kicker for me was I have a younger son who was unwell for many, many years with an autoimmune disease. And without getting too much into what he was struggling with, he is a part of my story. And I realized when we started doing it together, and I started bringing him with me together, what ended up happening is that now I started asking questions, because now mom is asking questions about how it is that it's going to be affecting the child, right? And so learning that, number one, these places didn't have a sterilization system like we do here at the Drip Bar. Number two, they couldn't answer where the vitamins were coming from. That was a red flag. And number 3, the Drip Bar has a research and development board that no one else has. So you ask, like, how do they come up with their menu? I know how we came up with our menu. I know our menu is processed and put together by our research and development board, and they're made up of oncology surgeons, naturopathic doctors, really forward thinkers. And so, but here's the thing, when you look at our menu, they didn't recreate the wheel. They know what vitamins do what, right? And I have to tell you, like, 90% of the people that walk into the Drip Bar, they are fighting something. They are fighting inflammation. They are fighting autoimmune. We do have some oncology clients that do come in. It has been such a learning process for me. It really has. I mean, every day I learn something. People come at us with a lot of different questions that honestly, we don't know all the answers. We really don't. We're learning as well. And for me, it's don't fake it till you make it. If you have a question and I don't have the answer, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to then challenge my research and development board. I'm going to challenge corporate. We are a franchise. You know, we do have a lot of support, and I'm really happy for that because this is not something that I can do alone. And I think there are a lot of mom and pop shops that are out there, and I give them a lot of credit. I feel better with a research and development board that is going to be able to give us their knowledge. I'm not recreating the wheel, like I said again. We do have protocol. We have a medical staff that has to make sure that you're okay to do this, because although this is a lifestyle drip, we do have health drips. High vitamin C, we do ALA, we do NAD. These are types of drips that need to be approved to make sure that you qualify for it. We're never going to give you anything that is not going to benefit you.
At what point did you go from, okay, I'm going for these drips, to I'm going to have a business where people are going to benefit like me? And also, was there a lull between actually going for drips yourself and just basically getting vitamins?
I had no idea 8 years ago that this was going to be a part of my day-to-day. I had no idea. I was a full-time mom, although I have a business background. When my son got sick, so I was a buyer for 2 different types of companies. One was a textile company, and the other one was a technology company. And then with my first cancer, I really had to make some choices. My choices were, and this is back in the late 90s, I had really great jobs that I traveled a lot. I traveled overseas. I really love what I did. I really love the people that I met along the way, and I'm a very people person. And then, but at the time, I was told, like, if you want to have a family, then you kind of need to settle down a little bit. And I decided that this was something that I really wanted, because back after my first cancer, I didn't go on tamoxifen. I didn't go on some of the medications that they give people. I didn't want to be thrown into menopause at 24 years old. So but I also knew that having a family was going to change everything. I didn't know if I could have kids. I had to wait 5 years from after my chemotherapy to even consider having kids. And then I was poked and prodded a lot. I was so fortunate to have a healthy child, and I was so happy to be a mom that I allowed myself to just do that in that time. And then why not have another? Because,
right.
Why not? I did, and but now, years later, I guess I look at it as if, not that there's something missing, but I also knew that I wanted something in addition to. I felt like I was cut off a little bit and not having some choices. And I was so happy to be a mom, but I felt as also that there was something more. And I wanted my kids to also, and I don't talk about it a lot, but I wanted my kids to also know that I'm not just their mom, I'm Andrea. Like I was someone before you, and I'm gonna be someone after you as well. And so I'm fortunate enough now that I have my older son, Nick, who's now 23, gonna be 24, graduate Providence College and come back and work for his mom. And now we get to work together every day. And I never thought in a million years that that this would happen this way. I feel so supported, but I never thought, especially needles, right? IV, but I've been through many surgeries, I've been through a lot of testing, and it definitely wasn't easy, and I'm not a fan, but I know the benefits of it, and they're simple vitamins.
So just going back, like, when did you pull the trigger on, like, I want to start a business doing this?
So I very honestly, like,
And did you go, like, I'm assuming you went to places like this?
once a month.
Yeah.
Well, I had to travel once
Okay.
a month. I did, and I maintained.
Travel where? Like, close?
So yeah, no, not exactly. So
Okay.
I would go to Rhode Island.
Wow.
Yep, I would go
Okay.
to a couple of times to Massachusetts, but Rhode Island mainly. I'd go north. Fortunately, we vacationed a lot up in Rhode Island, so
Okay.
I was able to find a place, and so I'd make an excuse to go monthly.
Okay.
Oh, I gotta go to Rhode Island. You
Yeah.
know, why not go to Newport?
Yeah.
And you know, I did that a little bit, and I did go to places that are local that are now my competition.
Okay.
You know, but they don't do it like we do it. And now I know. You know, I met great people along the way. It's just their processes were a little bit different. When I met the Drip Bar, I realized that they do things a little bit different and more in line to my standard, especially being autoimmune and infection and things like that. Like, I wanted to take it to another level. So I will tell you, I also did my due diligence though. When, like you said, before I pulled the trigger and I found out about the Drip Bar and I started asking questions, I traveled. I went to Nashville, I went to Florida, and I did visit these places. And I really wanted to know from some of the OGs that are out there that are doing this as to the differences, what they found, you know, and I asked a lot of questions. And I realized that the Drip Bar was really the franchise for me. Everything about what they were doing, they're new. They were franchised in 2019, and it was new. Everything new is a little risky, but I really felt that my community of all places, we need something like this. We really did. I mean, myself saying like, yes, I've gone locally, I've done this, I've taken my kid, but being able to bring this type of value to my own community, I live 7-8 minutes away, is that I'm 7 days a week, right? And honestly, I've never been happier. You know, we've had our challenges. You know, we are prime real estate, so it's not inexpensive. And I give away a whole lot that I probably shouldn't, but I feel like my community was there for me, especially when I needed them, especially when I was unwell and my kids were little. And I have to tell you, we're open literally 62 days, and we have over 88 members.
Wow.
And I'm floored.
Was it a hard sell? Is it a hard sell?
Yeah.
Do people, is there like a buy-in, like, oh, it's just vitamins? Like, I know for me, like, the cryogenics, cryogenic, is that what it is? No.
Cryotherapy?
Cryotherapy.
Like the cold,
there is a stigma with it, not a stigma, but like, you know, like, you go and you're like, well, did that really like work for inflammation? I think it's different with vitamins, like it's vitamins, right? But is there something that you've found with like any blowback or any of that?
So
not to compare that to this.
No,
but,
not at all. Well, what's really interesting is that the Drip Bar here in Rye, you know, I am the sole owner, I'm woman owned. Although we are a franchise, we all do things a little bit differently, right? So we at the Drip Bar Rye will not be doing aesthetics. I feel like it's Rye, and you can find that anywhere. My goal was to bring this to my community as a wellness center. And we have 2,100 square feet here. We have this private room that we're sitting in now. We have this big, beautiful lounge. We have private rooms that I am filling with other type of modalities that are all geared towards athletes and wellness. And one of them is a local cryotherapy. And I'll tell you what, I've learned so much because I'm finally asking questions, right? Yes, I told you 98% of what is in this bag right now is going right to our cell level, 100%. Number two is that when you talk about other type of wellness like cryotherapy, things like that, I will tell you, having a son who is an athlete and everything hurts, like everything is, there's always something injured. Cryotherapy works in a certain way that, what does it do? It activates your cells, it activates your immune system to say, hey, and it starts the healing process. And so that's how the body works. Our bodies are meant to heal themselves. that's the way it always is, right? Always should be. But what's happened, and this is something I talk about with a lot of my clients, they talk about when they're here in the United States, Europe has so many other things that we do not. And something like this is like a no-brainer for Europe. They eat true farm to table.
Right.
Okay, the things that they do there compared to the things that we do here are food sources. There's a lot that can be improved, okay? And I listen to my clients and I listen to the conversations that they have, and they ask a lot of questions. And so I do my best to answer as to, in my experience, what it is. But I learn from them just as much.
We're not conditioned for self-care here. That's another
Yeah.
thing. And we're also, we're conditioned for immediate results. So I think going to cryotherapy, I think that there's, let me go once and it should work right away.
No.
Do you get that here? Where it's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to get one IV. I
Yes.
went
Oh no.
and I don't feel anything.
I got that from family members
Yeah,
too. Oh,
yeah.
I remember I sent a family member up to Newport before I
Yeah.
opened, and they were like, so let me ask you something. So I went yesterday. Should I feel any different? Should I feel anything? And
Yeah.
I laugh, and I'm just like, well, I put it like this.
Yeah.
So when you go to a gym, right, and you bought this great membership, and now you've gone for the week, right, and now you're looking in the mirror and you're just like, oh wow, like, you know, you're not looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger yet.
Right.
Wonder why that is. Because it takes a little bit of time. And I'll tell you, like, we do have memberships here, and we ask people to stay for 3 months, to drip once a month, and to give it a chance. Because like anything else, your body has to figure out what to do with it, right? Now, that said, I've had clients that have literally have done, I'll give an example. He's done, he loves his Power Pack. The Power Pack's full of B vitamins. It's like a bag of energy, right?
Okay.
And so he's in his 80s,
Okay.
and he came in with his daughter who's around my age, and they sat in this room, and he sat there and he just said, like, I have this going on, that going on, and the daughter sat there and said, Dad, listen, you know this is just an IV, right? This is just an IV, you're just getting some vitamins. And he's like, but my back, and he lives in the city, and he's got this walk up to do, and he's like, it's getting harder and harder. And she's looking at me, and she's like, you know, his spine, it's like it's being like strangled. 3 days later, I get a call, and it's this gentleman, and he goes, okay, I called my doctor, and I told him that I have never felt better. He goes, he wants to know what magic potion you put in my IV. And I laughed and I said, oh my gosh, and I'm taking pictures of our menu. I said, did you take a menu with you? This is what's in your drip. This is what you got. And he was like, how long is it gonna last? Great question. I don't know. Everybody's different. Now, I can tell you everybody processes it different. Everybody has a different experience. And it lasts longer in some, shorter in others. Why? Because it is not one size fits all, unfortunately. So we listen and we hear. That's why we ask you to stay for 3 months. Stay for 3 months. Let us work with you. Let us figure out. We ask questions. My team will follow up even the next day, 2 days later. How you doing? How you feeling? You know, we do lots of different lifestyle drips. Again, we do some health style drips, and so, but we monitor. You know, we also do weight loss. You know, we do that. We don't advertise it a lot, but we do that. We do it safely. And so I know a lot of places that go, what they will do is they will actually give them like a shot for weight loss, and they'll send them on their way. We do that here. We don't send you home with it. We monitor you. We have you come back. We recommend a metabolized drip to go with it.
Okay.
We also want to monitor it, talk to you, and make sure, because with that can come side effects. We're very transparent about everything that happens here. I always encourage people, less is more. Start slow. Don't jump in with 2 feet. You know, we have clients that will come in and be like, oh, I've been doing this for a long time. I can tell if they've been doing it a long time because I know what to expect. Now, for example, I have a family member and he was like, I wasn't feeling anything, you know, and then it was like 3 days later, he was like, okay, now I feel like now I'm starting, now I got the B vitamins. Now I will tell you, we do IM shots as well, and I think you got an IM shot here the last time we were here. And I will tell you, with the iron shots, they're the funniest people, because we do have people that will come in, and they literally had a guy a couple of weeks ago. He opened our front door and he yelled and he goes, "Hey," he goes, "remember that B12 shot you gave me?" He goes, "Well, my wife is so happy right now." He goes, "Because I actually cleaned out the basement, I cleaned out the deck, and I got all this stuff done on one B12 shot." I'm like, "You are welcome." I'm
That's
like,
so
you know.
funny.
So again, it hits everybody, because we concierge here to you. So we have clients that come in, and if they say, you know, I can't do magnesium, I can't do zinc, I can't do, no problem. We can make whatever it is that is going to suit your health and your lifestyle. All right, that's the beauty of it. We didn't just pick that bag off the shelf and go, "Here, we're going to give that to John." That bag was made for you and only you. If you wanted to add something, if you wanted to leave something out, we can do that. So that's why the process may take 10 minutes longer, because we're concierging to you,
Right.
not just pulling it off the shelf and being like, "Oh, how long was that there for?" You know.
So what is your, I mean, I know that you just opened a few months ago.
Yeah.
A few months ago? A
Actually,
month ago.
62 days ago.
62 days ago.
2 months.
2 months ago.
But I was
okay.
working on it a very long time.
Yeah. So what are your most common customers?
I'll go right back
Or
to
is it just like a wide
inflammation.
information?
Yeah, I will say we're probably more female dominant, but
Okay.
I'm very surprised that we have a lot of return male
Okay.
clients.
Are you finding people who are just like, physical therapy is not working for me? Do you find any people who are like that, or is it mostly like, I mean, I'm someone who has a lot of inflammation,
Yeah.
and physical therapy is just feels like an endless cycle. Nothing against physical therapists. In my own personal situation, would that be something like,
I would say in conjunction with.
so something to complement?
Yes,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah.
And would you say, you mentioned weight loss before?
Yes.
Like if someone was looking for, there's no
No magic pill.
magic pill.
Yep.
So it's just you're doing things
Yes.
in connection or conjunction with it, right?
Yes, and that's what I said earlier, is that
Right.
we support.
Right.
We support, because here's the
Right.
thing. I tell people all the time,
Yeah.
if there was a magic pill or a magic drip, I would have found it.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
my health and wellness journey,
Yeah.
I would have found it, because there has been no stone unturned between
Right.
my son's health and my health. We have tried so many different things.
Right.
And I do know that there's been a lot of medication pushed at me.
Yeah.
And I do understand that some people absolutely do need medication. Hi.
Hi.
Come and talk. Are we doing good? He's almost done.
Yes, he is.
And I knew you would drip faster than me.
Look, I'm gonna slow him down.
I know. It's going to slow you down just a little bit. You're going to get drip, drip. I listen to every one of my clients that come in, and I try to create a networking for those clients.
Mhm.
Okay. I also have learned a lot from them myself.
Yeah.
It has been, in my experience, the people that come here, this is not their first rodeo. They are, and I'm not going to use the word desperate, but they're open to alternative ways to support their health. And so my clients are willing to try this again in conjunction with, because they're simple vitamins.
Right.
And I know I'm not getting it through the food I'm eating. I know I'm not getting it. I know I don't drink enough water. Ask my family. I'm like a camel. It's ridiculous.
Right.
You know, this works for me. And so far we have over almost 90, in 2 months, we have almost 90 memberships. It means to me that people are trying to keep themselves accountable. When you have a membership, yes, it is the best value if you think you're going to do this, absolutely. But we all need to keep ourselves accountable. Now, when you talk about like weight loss, for instance, like some people don't qualify for the weight loss medications that we have, because your BMI has to be a certain rate.
Yeah.
All right, number one. That's why we offer a metabolized drip for people who are like on that border, or maybe they're not too sure about it. Listen, we will work with you. You know, my biggest thing is that, again, I'm going to be honest with you, there's probably not one day that's gone by here that I haven't cried. And it's not a bad cry, it's actually a good cry.
Okay.
Because I literally watch people walk in and I see how they are and I see how they feel. And either I can really relate to them or I feel for them in certain ways that, because I've been on both sides. I have actually been the person who's been unwell, and I've been the person as a caretaker for someone who's been unwell. And when I see them leave after their drip, I'm gonna say 95% of the people that leave here leave not only feeling better, looking better, and relieved. And they're like, tell me about that membership. And so, do they feel it instantaneous? You know, some do. Some literally do. Because some of them come in really bad shape. You know, yes, it's some people pollute themselves the day before, they had, they're living their life, they're having fun.
Yeah.
Is that our main client? No, that's not our main client,
Yeah.
We're so excited to be able to offer this.
Right. I was going to say, but hey,
we're here.
you're here.
This room has been occupied
Yeah.
by those that have been
I'm
sort
sure.
of laid out by it.
But talking about accountability, though, like, I look at this as like, look, I'm not going to remember to take vitamins in the morning. And if you're here, I'll remember that you're here. And it's kind of like if I'm at the gym, I may not work out, but if there's a personal trainer that I'm paying, I'll remember to work out and I'll
Isn't that
bust
funny?
my ass.
Isn't that funny?
So, like,
Yeah.
if you can hold yourself
It's a
accountable,
motivator.
if there's a motivator there, and if it takes an IV.
And it's the best value.
Right.
And I do remember too, and for me, it was very hard. Like, I would take handfuls of vitamins, some at
Yeah.
night, some with food, some without food, empty stomach, nighttime, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It was rough. I would feel so sick.
Yeah.
Thank you. I would feel so sick because just being able to honestly process all the vitamins that I had to process.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I would stop taking them. And I'd minimize and I'd make excuses for it. Here, I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I get to drip 3 times a month. And for me it's like they're all different drips. And again, it's like I've done this for so long, though I know my body, I know, and listen, it's a challenge. And, I haven't told many people this, but even 2 weeks ago, I had another scare. I found something underneath my arm, and I was like, oh crap, this is not good. And it turned out I'm fine.
Okay.
I turned out I'm fine. But my point of sharing it with you is that you never know. But I am going to do everything I can do and be as proactive as I can be. And I have access to this now, and my friends and my family, and we have stayed open late, we've opened early. I look at the value and I look to see what it is that we can bring our clients. I've made a lot of friends through this, and I know that I'm doing good. I really am. Like, this is something we're very transparent about. Our sterilization system, our lab, how we built out, why we built it out, what we can offer. And if we don't know, we're going to find the answer for you. Some people we do have to turn away because either they're going through like a severe treatment for something, and we will need your doctor to tell us that it's okay. We will always put the client first. Our standards and our protocols are super high. I'm very proud of that.
So let me ask you this. This is a totally loaded question.
Oh my, buckle it up here.
No. I mean, you had said, like, getting the drip was just such a terrible experience. Like,
It was.
when you first started. And it was just, I'm assuming it was just like white walls and just very...
The smell.
Yeah.
The smell of the infusion center even was like, it was so triggering for me. I remember calling my oncologist and I was like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, you are. And we're together 31 years now. I mean,
Okay.
He's like, yeah, you are, because I need you to do this. And so I go back to when I was 24 years old and I found this lump in my breast and I was like, holy crap, what is this? And at the time, back in the early 90s, I was being brushed off like, oh, it's probably just a fibroid, you're too young. And I mean, my son is 23 and I look at, like, he's still in my eyes a baby,
Yeah.
and I was too, and how I ever got to where I needed to be, because both my cancers are such stories of survival. They really are. If the stars didn't line up throughout each diagnosis that I had and the support that I had, honestly, I wouldn't be sitting here today. And it is not, I get emotional about it because it's, no matter how many times I tell the story.
You said good cries only.
Yeah, it is such a good cry. It is, because it's like, it is not lost on me that surviving cancer twice and how I did it. I want to live. I want to live, but I want to live. I don't want to exist. I want to live my life. I'm 55. I'm taking risks that normal 55-year-olds don't take. I put myself out there. I put my family out there. I tell my story. I want to be able to give my clients something that I did not have. This was never offered to me until 8 years ago. And I'm a 31-year survivor. This was not offered to me. And I feel I'm angry about that. I'm angry, but now I'm sort of like, oh, my anger gets put into production.
Right.
So I'll give you an example. So someone had actually said and wrote about me, and they actually said, when Andrea is, given, lemons, not only does she make lemonade, but she opens up a lemonade business, and that's exactly what I did. And that's exactly, I have never been happier or more satisfied in my life, because I see people that walk in and walk out feeling better. I never know, I'm non-medical. I never want to be a nurse, but it's the people experience that I get something out of that. And it's about paying it forward, and I'm not about to use my survival. And there is a part of, there's a part of each survivor that has the guilt to say, why did I get to survive this? And for me, it's not just once, it's twice. Why was I able to have 2 kids between? What made me so special? Because I'm not. But what I am is grateful. I'm grateful that I have this opportunity to bring this to the people that I love in a way that I never had. So for me, this is more than a business. Yes, I have to keep my doors open. Yes, I'm on Purchase Street in Rye. Yes. I waited a year for this space. I waited a year for this space because I knew that this was going to be a great space. I knew that the space in my lounge, having this kind of space, that not only are we going to do IV drips, we're going to have events. And those events are going to be every Thursday night starting in September from 7 to 9. I'm going to be able to bring my founders members in, my clients in, and I'm going to bring in wellness gurus of all kinds, from life coaches to nutritionists to epigenetics to, wellness chefs. I want to be able to give my clients the ability to sit, to listen, and to learn, and take that information, send them out the door, and go challenge the crap out of all of your people, all your doctors that take care of you. Go, this is what I learned. What do I need to know about this? Because I get people that are coming in here with their blood work, and they're like, my blood work looks fine, but I feel like crap. Yeah. Why? And a lot of doctors will brush it off and be like, well, your numbers are fine, so you're fine. We treat the person, not the numbers, although the numbers are important.
But it's also the antithesis of the experience you had, in terms of just the look and the feel and the Marla Beth original.
You bet.
Behind here.
No one's happier than me.
Yeah. Shout out to Marla.
Marla.
But like just the vibe and everything. I mean, I walked in here. I was offered water, espresso, prosecco. Right? I mean, like
we're tripping you, so why not?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's just like the antithesis of your experience, right?
My mom always said, especially when I opened, my dad passed away about 12 years ago from lung cancer, and it was quick. And although my mom is also a 2-time cancer survivor, cancer has been a monster in our life. But here's the thing, you don't have to be a cancer survivor to come in here. And the one thing she said to me was, treat people, and we grew up this way as well, treat people the way you want to be treated, and you won't go wrong. And that's exactly what I have in mind. So when I sit in my lounge, you know, it would be great to get a blanket, it'd be great to put my feet up, it'd be great to get a little something to drink, hot, cold, and hey, we got snacks too. I'm like, food please, I got snacks too, you know. And I think I try to think ahead, I try to anticipate. I've had to do that a lot in my life. I've had to, for many years, through, especially with my son's illness, I had to be the fixer. I always had to fix things. I had to anticipate, I had to be 10 steps ahead. And I think I took all of that into my new business. I really do. I think I took all of that. So now, and when I talk to my clients one-on-one, I try to anticipate what it is. If they're struggling with something, maybe I had another client in here that was struggling with something similar. What helped you? What doctors did you see? What method worked for you? What drip did you get? And I share that information. I take time, even when I interviewed my staff, and I had people say to me, so how did the interview go? And I said, well, we were down the street sitting for an hour and a half. They're like, an hour and a half? Why were you? I said, because I'm gonna be spending time with this person. This person's gonna be representing me and my business and being able to speak to my clients. Now, we've had a few hiccups, I will tell you, but I have to tell you, like, my staff are rock stars.
Yeah, shout out to your staff.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And they also believe and love, well, they've come to me, you know. I'm very blessed. I do. I feel every day I walk in here, I'm so happy.
Don't happy cry about it again.
Sorry. I'm sorry. It's just, it is, you could, like, I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I love what I do, and I am so excited about the future. We are 62 days in, and I have so much more coming. Like, literally, I'm biting at the bit. I have more wellness services coming in that are not needles. So also to be able to help those people too, to be like, oh, like, I want to be able to do this. How else can I do this? We're going to be able to give it to you. We're going to be able just to show you that there's so many other ways to be able to support your own health, your own wellness. And I cannot wait to show this community what is coming. And I'm so grateful. And I've always promised that I will pay it back. I pay it back in so many different ways. I really do. And so keep an ear open for what we have coming, even our events. And we're going to do pop-ups. We're going to be launching mobile.
Ooh,
so that is a
it.
whole nother ball game. Yeah, so we're waiting towards the end of the summer. We should have that launched up and running.
Cool.
We do have a lot of other different, there's a hotel spa looking at us. There's also, there's a lot of different offices that they want us to come and do events for them. And there's a lot coming. And I am over the moon about it. I cannot wait.
If people came with taglines, what would yours be? Like, if people came with taglines like in movies, what would yours be?
Be brave.
Like
Be
it.
brave.
Show it.
Be brave. Every day.
Mine is Lindsay O'Brien. It's not really, but you see Luca. Did you see the movie Luca?
I did. Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, this is, you find what, works, and that was and I remember throughout a lot of my life, people would say, be brave, just be brave,
Love it.
And I was just like, yeah, this is something I need to do. And
I
I'm doing
named
it.
my company Moving Forward just because I just would repeatedly say, I just got to move forward, I just got to move forward. When I was at shitty jobs, I would just be like,
Yeah.
I got to just move forward.
Yeah. We have to.
Yeah.
We have to. You cannot, and then, listen, we can sit there and get spiritual. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the thing too, is that I truly believe that, like, the past is, if you sit in the past, it brings on depression.
Mhm.
If you go too much in the future, it brings on anxiety.
Yep.
And that's why being in the moment is so important. Now, do I do both? Of course, I'm human.
Yeah.
But I am aware now, I'm awake. And that's the thing, is that, and when I meet people that are awake, I know it right away.
Yeah.
And I know they've been down that journey, they've been challenged. I also truly believe, to my core, that life is happening for us and not to us.
Mm-hmm.
And even though shit may happen, and it happens a lot, I sit back and I try to process, what am I learning from this? I have had to shed people, places, and things
Mm-hmm.
like everyone else.
Right.
And it's painful. But for whatever reason, they either do not belong in your life anymore, or they were there for a season and you
Right.
learned something, right? Or they were meant to catapult you. And I've had those people, and that's how I ended up at the Drip Bar too.
Yeah.
Leap of faith. It's a leap of faith. This is a huge undertaking.
Mhm.
Huge. This is my retirement. You're sitting in my retirement.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm taking that chance. I'm taking that risk. Because I think it's a risk worth taking.
Well, I think that's the thing. Like, I started my own company because when the risk of not doing something starts overtaking the
Where's
risk
that
of doing
regret?
it.
Do you
right?
want to regret what you do or don't do?
Yeah.
You know, and we're going to fall down.
Yeah.
You know, and pick myself back up like I always do. And be
Right.
like, you know what? I think too, when you get out of your own way, you know, like again, I'll say it again, I'm 55. Once I turned 50 though, it was a little bit easier. I stopped explaining myself to people
Right.
to be like, if it's no, it's no. If it
Right.
doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for me. It's not like, well, because of this and this and this.
Right.
Nope.
No
It doesn't work
excuses.
for me. No excuses.
Yeah.
That's it. Because then we start making excuses for ourselves
Right.
and to ourselves.
Right.
And it's like, I'm done with that.
You don't have to justify
Nope.
yourself.
You have to be real. I'm ready to move forward, move on, get to that next level. You know, and again, when I meet people like yourself, I know when you're there. I know
Mhm.
you've gone there. I know you've
Mhm.
been through it. I know you're ready for the next thing.
Yep.
You know, and being that open-minded. Again, I don't have all the answers, you know, and I do manifest good things. Even on the way here to work this morning, I'm like, all right, this is what I'm going to see. And I throw it out there to the universe.
Okay.
Like, you know, it would be great to see. This would be so great to see. Let's work on that. I'm
I
like,
manifested a tripod.
did you?
Thanks for dripping with me.
Thank you for dripping with me. This has been great. I really needed this today too. Just back. Hopefully you'll come back and see us.
I will.
Hopefully you do.
Yeah.
I hope it was a great experience.
It was.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, John.